Good evening and welcome to 9 Years TV here at Sherwood's Record Stadium. Another game this evening against Cheltenham Town are the visitors. We are joined by some esteemed guests. Freddie Flaxman, Don's Trust Board. Freddie, over from America, you're still here.
Good to be here. I've never felt smaller in my life between you two.
Yeah.
I thought we ate a lot in America, but I guess not enough.
And we're joined by our good friend Aaron Paul. Aaron, how are you this evening?
Yeah, very well. Just happy to be back. Seeing it out there, it looks amazing. Just happy to be back here.
So Aaron's got a night off, so you can come and watch the Wombles and stuff like that. So guys, we're going to quickly go through the Shrewsbury game in about a minute or so. But Freddie, how was it? 'Cause it was your first experience of Plough Lane in terms of an atmosphere. How was it on Saturday?
It was great. I had the pleasure of sitting in the south stands with all the animals, and could not have been happier about it. You know, the chants and the cheers, and I was happy to see a goal. So I consider almost a success. We'll pull out a win tonight, and then I'll get it all.
And Aaron, when was the last time you were here at
The Oxford game.
So you're some
Oxford game? No, in fact, it was Sheffield Wednesday.
So do you know what? You saw goals then, in that case then. So you had two goals against Sheffield Wednesday.
I was on the early game at Fulham, and I did a mad dash from my pal.
That's right.
We planned everything out. Everything. The car was in the right certain place at Craven Cottage. Bombed it here. Got here. 2-0 down, I think, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
But, any opportunity to come here and watch the Dons,
Brilliant. So let's review Saturday's action. Freddie, before the game, what were you thinking? Just get a goal, because we hadn't scored obviously for a little while, had we?
Yeah, it was get off the schneid, as we would say in the US. Get a goal. Kick. It's a real momentum thing. So, once you see one ball get in the back of the net, who's the next one? So, hoping to see a goal.
So line up, Lee Brown made his debut. George Mars backing in the midfield there with Luke
squad
McCall.
choice from Lee Brown as well.
That guy's a tank.
I have to say, he's not overly... I don't think he's overly impressed with 55, but he didn't have much choice with that. So, we're going in, and obviously Shrewsbury. Irony is Sam Cosgrove was on the bench for Shrewsbury on Saturday, and obviously he's joined us, and we've got an interview with him a little later. Shrewsbury set up with a 3-5-2 on that. So just so we go through the highlights. Aaron, obviously where were you on Saturday? I'm just trying to think now. Where were you sent on your travels?
I was nowhere.
You weren't sent.
Presenting 606.
That's right, you were, weren't you?
606.
You were, that's right.
Podcast,
That's right.
I was just keeping my eye across everything that was going on, really.
So early on, to be fair, Chislet should have gone down with that, but we didn't get much joy. But I think the goal is coming up shortly on this one. So we started quite well, Freddie.
Yeah,
so we're on top,
the first half there was a good amount of attacking, and you'll see the goal here in a second. It looked to be in control at that point.
Interesting, probably smallest person in the box there.
Brilliant work from him though, just to go to do what he did from deep, play the ball and get into position quickly. That's what you call a good instinct. He's done that so well. Played the ball beautifully, made sure his man's on side.
Yeah.
Balls come back in, and there's a big header. That's what you want it across the goalkeeper.
Because realistically, if you're going to put balls in the box, you can't stand him up. Obviously, Ollie Palmer no longer with us, but it's got to be a precision, isn't it, and stuff like that. So the early goal, free kick. Luke McCormick, in the absence of Andy Hartigan, taking the free kicks. But we were on top. McCormick put another cross back in. Freddie, in terms of that second goal, would have been really important, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's look, fluky goals happen. Anytime you can put a bit of buffer between you and the squad you're up against, the better. It looked like we were going to get one too.
And you were standing. This is where you were, so you were behind the goal.
Yeah, you could probably see me in the upper right-hand corner losing my mind.
Yeah, I think at this stage we needed a second goal. Interesting, I was thinking, Aaron, obviously no Ollie Palmer, but we've still gone long from the goal kicks. Normally play out around the back. Interesting one, isn't it, in terms of adapting without Ollie Palmer around.
So, playing out from the back's much of a muchness for me. It's just fashion, isn't it? It is for fashion, and it will go out of fashion. Oh, really so close.
I know.
That was the one.
The sweet prince of Plough Lane. So
it was actually really good work from Chisner. Really good work from him in terms of. But yeah, we needed that second goal. At that time, I think Shrewsbury were on the racks and that, really getting into a central position again on that side. I think from memory, this is the goal. So Shrewsbury started then putting a bit more pressure on us. Freddie, from your point of view, big size Shrewsbury against us, weren't they?
Yeah, it's a tale of two halves almost. I did love what Lee Brown was doing in the back. You can tell he's directing guys, but I'm just happy to get through.
Am I being critical in terms of fending wise there? Tan's spreading himself. It's not. It's a straightforward goal.
Yeah. League One's an unforgiving place. You forget that sometimes.
Yeah.
You forget where we are in the Football League and where this club is in division places. There's complete differences between what clubs can afford, what clubs can do, the quality of players and the styles of football as well. It is a very, very strange place. It's a bit of a quagmire actually. League One on the whole. And Shrewsbury were always going to come and they were going to fight. Steve Cottrell's a manager who knows how to battle. He's got a lot of respect for his club. As we know, and he's shown a lot of love to the club. And I mean, what a save!
And this is where they got on top. But this is where they got on top after the goal.
It's resilience.
We were.
They showed resilience. I want to hold on for the point, whereas once upon a time it would have been different.
Yeah, and Tan's can't really say there. Late on, this golden opportunity. Rudy trying to be too flash there, Freddie.
You just hope someone sticks out their foot and puts it in.
Yeah.
That's all it would take.
Cosgrove behind him.
You know, sometimes, Stuart, when you want to kick down in the car and you're in too high a gear, you have to bring it back down. And he wasn't in the right gear.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah. But the encouraging thing was getting into the box, and the game finished 1-1 in that way, referee blew the final whistle. So, Freddie, from your point of view, was it 2 points drop, point
I know it's odd how draws can sometimes feel like wins, sometimes feel like losses. I think if you were to ask me at the end of the first half, it would have felt like a loss. But given how strong Shrewsbury was at the beginning of the half, I think it was happy to come away with a draw.
And you were quite impressed. You were quite impressed with Shrewsbury fans, weren't you?
I was impressed. Look, I'm an American. I couldn't find Shrewsbury on a map. I could find them in the stadium. They were loud.
Does it surprise you, obviously over in America in terms of the big cities, does it surprise you the depth of the league football in terms of the way you say you can't find Shrewsbury?
100%. And everything is close by here, so you can travel in a way that's sometimes difficult in the U.S. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was impressed with the away fans.
They were quite loud. And they got a good behind the goal there. It's quite, in terms of for a new ground, they get the whole way in, don't they?
Yeah.
So they can come down their numbers.
Well, people are enjoying their away trips here. I mean, I know, some of the catering options have been questionable, but on social media.
Oh yeah, I know where you go with that one.
On
Yeah.
social media, but people want to come here. People want to come to this ground. People respect the story, respect the heritage of the club, and they want to watch Wimbledon here and they want to follow their team here. It's a very sought after way there. I know a friend of mine who works for a Football League club and supports Portsmouth travelled up straight after work and she made it just for kickoff, and I was like, it's a Pizza Cup game, and she's like, I want to come to Plough Lane. I was like, there you go. It's an opportunity to come, and that's what they'll do in their droves.
Yeah, I love this place. I feel it's like a ground in a posh council estate. It's like Wimbledon. To be fair, I don't think anyone's moved into those places. I'm looking at Rob now as it behind me, but I don't think there's anyone in there.
You're moving in there, Rob?
Rob can't afford.
He's in the south.
We're trying to say to Freddie earlier where Rob lives in terms of outside in the suburbs of Surrey, but we never have heard of it. We've got about another 2 minutes until team news. Freddie, what would you do tonight if you were Robbo? Keep it the same, freshen it up. What would you do from Saturday?
Yeah, look, I love the effort in the first half of the match on Saturday, and I think just give the team time. They're continuing to build momentum. When you're a young team, you see a lot of volatility, and I think if you give them a chance to keep getting at it, you'll start to see some success.
And Aaron, obviously, with stuff happening over the COVID, over the Christmas period, a lot of games now in a short period of time. Do you think it's quite important to mix the squad around? We haven't got a massive squad. Do you keep a solid starting lineup, or do you try and mix it around to keep your injuries?
Robert can only do what he can do, especially in attack. I think that's the place everyone's looking at, really. Honestly, for me, it will come. The goals will come.
Yeah.
This is such an exciting time to be watching this team. It is ridiculously exciting. And for everyone who turns around to me and complains and moans, you know what? League One, back home, playing with a young, hungry, exciting squad. How many of them are homegrown? Basically, and their dad's coaching them effectively. Their father is
He is a
coaching
father figure, isn't he?
And it's such an exciting time to watch this team, and we're going to see hopefully the best of Terry, fingers crossed at some point. We've got players to come in, new signings as well. Look, I'm looking forward to the next few months of the season. I really am.
You are right. Sometimes it's so easy to forget of what is here. And don't get me wrong, I come to every game and I still look and I still think, wow, this is our place. And sometimes you can get a little bit drawn out by the results, can't you? But I agree totally that we obviously we should be really excited. And obviously, Fred, you know that from being on the Chance Trust board. So no pressure.
I hear all sides of it. If you want to feel great, sometimes you can go on Facebook. If you want to feel bad, sometimes you go on Facebook.
Social
media.
I
think generally speaking, I think as Aaron described, the club is in a great place. One of, if not the youngest starting lineup in League One. The future is really bright. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. So I'm excited about what's ahead.
Good stuff. So team news now we can release. So Rob Tuvey joined us earlier, and team news is coming up.
Joined now by FC Women's assistant head coach Rob Tuvey. Rob, I believe you've got the team news for us.
Yep. Good evening. Hope you enjoyed the game this evening. In goal tonight will be Nick Zanev. Right back will be Shay Alexander. The two centre halves will be Ben Hennigan and Will Nightingale. Lee Brown will be left back. Anthony Hartigan will come back into the side and partner George Marsh. Luke McCormack will be just ahead of him. Out wide tonight will be Aya Basal and Jack Rudoni, and up top will be Terry Ablade. Bench tonight will be Zaki Ulia, Paul Asu, Ethan Chislett, Aaron Cosgrave, Dan Shocker, Thomas and Dapo Mabude will make the bench up.
Obviously there, I think the main talking points, Anthony Hartigan back into the starting 11 for the first time since his spell out with illness. How encouraging is it to have him back, and how's he feeling?
Yeah, no, he's done really, really well in training. Obviously he's come on a couple of times, so we feel like he's ready to get maximum minutes tonight, which is great. And he's got an important role to play tonight. The way that we're trying to set up tonight, he'll be pivotal to what we try and do.
Shay Alexander also back in, coming in for Paul Osser on the right side of the back four. How is that something we're looking at tactical tonight, or is it just squad rotation?
A little bit of squad rotation. We just feel that Paul Asu, he's done really, really well lately and provided great competition for Shay. And we just feel that he potentially needs that little bit of rest ahead of Saturday, which is another big game for us. And just picking the right players for the right games and that. And myself and Rob have sat down and just felt that this is a game for Shay to really show us what he's got.
Now, busy last couple of days, obviously. Nathan Broom and Sam Cosgrove not involved tonight for the Dons. What can you say about them?
Yeah, unfortunately, obviously the deals went through slightly later than what we had planned, and that means that they miss out tonight but will be available for selection at the weekend. Nathan, really promising young goalkeeper who we're really excited about, and obviously under Bezo's guidance we hope will really develop into a great goalkeeper. And with Sam, Sam was in training today, looked really sharp, probably lacking a little bit of match sharpness at the moment due to his experience he's just gone through. But yeah, we're really excited by them, and we hope the fans can meet them tonight out on the pitch and give them a warm reception.
Rob Tuvey, thank you for joining us.
Cheers.
Aaron's the pro, which is great. We're back on. Do you know what? There's me trying to have a little conversation. We just talk about Aaron being a pro here and stuff like that. So team news, not many changes in terms of that. Obviously, Hartigan comes in with George Marsh this evening. Freddie, George Marsh has played the last 3 games. Woody, Alex Woodyard being out injured. Yep. Big player for us to lose. I wouldn't say we haven't missed Alex Woodyard, but George Marsh. How do you find his game on Saturday?
Look, I'm not by no means a football expert, but I think obviously the presence of Alex Woodard is felt. He brings leadership to the team and obviously helps the club up front. So look, we'll see how things go tonight.
Definitely. George Marsh comes in from Tottenham, a free transfer. Aaron, you were saying earlier, weren't you, about being excited about what we've got. Another young kid released by Tottenham, now starting to get game time here.
A big fan of his. I think he's really stepped up to the plate in the last few weeks. A real bitey midfielder, someone that opposition fans love to hate, someone that we love to love. I know my pals over at Tottenham, Bradley Allen, who's one of the coaches, who's a co-commentator on BBC Radio London, thinks a lot of him. They think a hell of a lot of him over there. And the fact that we've got him, I think he's an absolutely cracking player in this division. What a player to have, because he enables other people to do their jobs as well. He's doing the hard work. He's doing the graft, and he's just a brilliant footballer to have, a real asset.
And do you know what? He's actually sat. He hasn't had a lot of game time in the first part of the season. Hasn't moaned. Got his chance. That's what you sort of want, isn't it? Really, you want them players to come in and grab your opportunity with that. So, Townsend goal, centre halves, Ben Hennigan, Will Nightingale. Solid pairing, Aaron, isn't it? Really solid, and solid. And Ben, we got on a free transfer. I still having a fullback, Shay Alexander, Lee Brown edition. Lee Brown, we talked about a father figure earlier, Freddie, on that sort of side of it.
That's my guy, Lee Brown.
Yeah.
That guy's a tank.
A lot of love from Pompey fans. The night before I found out we were signing him, spoke to a Pompey fan, and she just gave me a full brief on Lee Brown and said that you're signing a great player, someone who's going to be a real cracking asset. And it brings back shades of Barry Fuller, doesn't it?
Yeah,
brings back shades of Barry, and someone who's going to be hopefully a mainstay in this team, and who's going to offer you that solid presence, consistency. Loving having him in.
And it was noticeable on Saturday with him. It's just that experience, kids are great, but sometimes that bit of a know-how. Midfield, George Marsh, by the way, I still say it every game, he looks an absolute... He don't look very happy, does he, Aaron? Aren't you supposed to smile?
I don't think many of them are with these photos, but...
Do you think they're told to not smile? It's like the old passport pictures, I don't know.
They must have a few...
Intimidating the other team.
And Andy Hartigan, who joins us back, which I think will be a really asset. I call him the attacking flair, sitting in behind Jack Redoney, Luke McCormick, who Luke McCormick would go back into his normal attacking midfield, and Ayo Sal, who got his goal on Saturday.
I call this the year 11s because at school, the sixth grade.
I get confused now what they call it.
Year 11, junior. Junior year of high school.
Is it junior high?
So, no, high school, but your junior year, your third year of high school.
Oh, I don't know.
Someone smarter than us.
I call them year 11s because at school,
at
school, they'd be the kids you'd be scared of. They'd be the kids, not scared of as in a fight, but scared of to play football because you know for a fact that they are going to boss you.
Yeah.
They are the year 11s.
And we set them up that way, but they're interchangeable. Luke would go out wide, he'd play in a hole, Jack would come into the middle. So they don't necessarily stick in their positions, so they are a bit of a nightmare to pick up. And then up top, we've got Terry Blade, obviously from Fulham. You think with Fulham now, they've got so much. Actually, you go watch Fulham quite a bit, don't you?
The academy there, though.
Yeah.
The players that produce him. Look, I was working deadline day yesterday. Fabio Carvalho, what a player.
They kept him in the end, didn't they?
Well, there was a problem with the fee. They wanted £7 million. Liverpool wanted to pay 5. It went 5 to 7, 5 to 7, 5 to 7. Come 10:30, we got a notification to say deal agreed. He was staying there, and then something broke down, and Fabio Carvalho remains a Fulham player, to the delight of their manager Marco Silva, and to Hugh Jennings, who runs their academy. I mean, that is they're neighbours effectively for them, but their academy is something that needs to be tapped into. You look at the players.
Yeah.
Stephen Sessegnon going to Plymouth Argyle yesterday. The Sessegnon brothers, Marlon Fossey, who's come out of there, Adebayo, who plays for Luton Town, the centre forwards, come out of there, Fabio Carvalho. There are so many players that come from that academy, and they do so well. So to have someone like Terry, who's been coached through that system, it's a plus.
And I do chuckle to myself sometimes because we train right next door to Fulham and Moss Park, so we should be known. Should be the nosy neighbours. in that way.
Are you saying doing Marcelo Bielsa?
Well, I'm just saying that it shouldn't be a surprise if you're looking over, you know.
See Bezo and Robbo like that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if you've been down the training ground, but we actually train next door to Fulham.
Yeah. I'm in favour of don't work harder, work smarter. Or the strong take from the weak with the smart take from the
We just
strong.
buy a load of drones, really.
Yeah. In Silicon Valley, I can help with that.
As in Brentford had their game, oh yeah, crazy with the drones and that sort of side. So the substitutes, Aaron's not going to like me too much with what word on there. So we've got Zaki, who now will have competition from Brown, from Broom. Finishers, yeah. I don't know what. Broom, who's going to be in, obviously be in competition for Zaki. Polosu drops to the bench, and Daniel's Choker drops to the bench. Also, and then up top, Dafa Mabude, in terms of substitutions, Ethan Chislett drops to the bench. Thomas, who's got number 50, so pleased that he wants to be called Thomas because I cannot pronounce his surname. And Aaron Cosgrove.
How are you going to do with Cosgrave and Cosgrove there?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I can see where this is headed.
I think I was calling him Cosgrave anyway, so I'm in proper trouble now. I think I'm just going to call him by their first names. I'm going to be polite.
That's easy.
On there, but Aaron, in terms of an attacking, it's quite an attacking bench, isn't it? In terms of where we are there, Stuart Stone, one up front at home is poor. We should be going for the juggler and paying two strikers to give their defence. It's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, you're talking about the year 11s. We're talking about behind. We effectively, I always think we actually play one up stationary, but actually the others join in a lot. It's sometimes a little bit of the one up top is a little bit of a red herring sometimes.
Yeah, because sometimes it can become a 4-2-4 effectively.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you see clubs they're trying to adapt this 4-2-3-1, go to a 4-2-2-2 sometimes.
Yeah.
Is that too many twos? I'm not sure. You know, a lot of clubs are playing that, and I mean, having sort of looked around at the players and the system, it's doable here. If Luke was to drop down, Luke McCormick to drop into midfield, you can play Rooney or sort of Rooney off the left, Sal off the right, and go with two up front. So I understand that. The feeling is that goals are needed, but there's also a feeling of there's a style of play being built and a plan and long-term progression and the way things are being done. And look, points, goals, they make prizes, we all know, but it's
a difficult part of the season, Freddie. You know, it's now what you call the important part. You know, the game's in hand. This is our final game in hand, and can put us near Cheltenham. But it's obviously you and Don's trust board, and not to put you in a difficult situation. But it is balancing, isn't it, in terms of the short term against what Aaron's saying, the process is, and how we're going to play. Of course.
And like any club competing in League One, as Aaron described, there's a whole range of different circumstances. You know, I think I and the board have a lot of faith in Robbo, have a lot of faith with the process, and there's been an intentional move to make the club younger and develop homegrown talent. Again, that leads to a lot of volatility, but I think over the course of a longer period of time, it's the right answer.
Sweet.
I think a lot of football fans will always look at the short term. They always look at short term. It's amazing. I look at the show we had on BBC 5 Live on Saturday, 6:06. EFL special. Right at the end, a Millwall fan calls him and is talking about how supporters are complaining about Gary Rowett and the football's too defensive and it's not good and they're not signing players and blah 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 blah. But he made a really good point, which is if you look at the teams that Millwall were beaten by in the playoffs, in the biggest of games, they're all behind them. Your Scunthorpes, your Bradfords, etc., they're all behind them.
Yeah.
And Millwall sat in the Championship. They're pretty comfortable in the Championship.
Yeah.
And with Gary Rowett, they are completely contrasting styles of play with him. Robert likes to play attacking ball. Robert wants to play ball. And for me, I'm very thankful for that because Gary Rowett here, trust me, guys, you'd have a big problem. It's not fun. It's not fun. And so it's a bit of a breath of fresh air when you have a head coach who's willing to play that football. He set up a brilliant front four. Let's be fair, we're all hoping Sam Cosgrove is the final missing piece.
Yeah.
And you never know. Next week, the week after, he could be that missing piece.
Definitely. So George Jones went down to the training ground yesterday and caught up with Ethan Chislett. So let's see how he got on.
And then just gets more and more stupid, basically.
Right, okay. Nothing that's going to stitch me up, is there?
No.
Okay, cool.
Joined now by AFC Wimbledon's Ethan Chislett. Ethan, thank you for joining us. We've just completed the final training session ahead of tonight's game against Cheltenham Town. Obviously, not the best result of the weekend, a point. What's your thoughts after that one?
Yeah, I think quite disappointed with the point. I thought first half especially we played very well, created a few chances, and I think over the course of the game, I think we should be looking to take 3 points out of that. Especially I don't remember them having really any, apart from obviously the goal aside, any real chances. So disappointed with the point, but obviously we need points right now, and onward and upward.
Obviously yourself, you've broken back into the starting 11 over the last couple of weeks after a spell out. How great is it to be back into that team? How much are you enjoying it?
Yeah, massively, and I'm hungry as ever to keep my place and create and score goals and do my running defensively as well, which I think is a massive thing that Robbo's obviously instilled into us, is the defensive side of the game. And I think the more you walk into a game with the draw 0-0, and the more often you keep the clean sheets, you'll win games and take points. So
now the next section is about getting to know you more as a person. So let's start off at the start of the day. When it's a training day, let's just assume, are you the type of person who up and at 'em as soon as that alarm goes, or 3 or 4 alarms to actually get you up and going?
No, to be fair, I'm quite good, because I go to bed quite early and wake up quite early too. So I like to be quite productive in the morning, as it kind of sets my day up. In terms of that, whether I come in a little bit earlier to have breakfast or do my prehab, I quite enjoy it. So yeah, always get a Starbucks on the way in as well. So
what are you getting from a Starbucks, if you can ask?
Flat white all day long, yeah.
Okay. Not as adventurous as we were perhaps hoping.
No, but it does the job.
No,
so.
It does the job, definitely. We're here at the New Malden Training Complex. When you're getting here, are you driving in on your own, or are you car sharing? Or?
Yeah, so I live in Guildford, which isn't too far away. It's probably about a 20-minute drive, just on the A3. So there's a little, probably Cobham services, yeah, just because it's quite local to me. So.
Okay, sorry about that one.
No
I know
worries.
that comes out of left field. When you're driving in, is it you type of person who's listening to podcasts or music, or? Yeah,
I listen to a lot of podcasts, to be fair. I like the High Performance podcast. I listen to that quite a bit. Just actually today, recently listened to the Matthew McConaughey one, which is quite spiritual, to be fair. But no, I enjoy it. I either listen to podcasts or music, or just generally like news or what's going on type thing. So.
Yeah. Do you have any particular music that when you are listening to it you have on repeat at the moment?
To be honest, my dad's got me on a few old school tunes. So what was the one this morning? I can't remember the one I was listening to this morning, but more kind of classical music at the moment, which is a bit weird for me, but it is what it is.
You're the first person we've interviewed to have said classical music for that one, so let's see how that goes down when this one goes out. But
oh god, here we go.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you throw me a little bit with that one. But okay, so one of the things we speak about with a lot of players, obviously as a footballer you have a bit of downtime in the evenings, long evenings. Are you watching anything on Netflix at the moment? Any films you've watched recently go down well?
Ozark, just finished that. Which is obviously a very good series. Let me think. Yeah, to be honest with you, Ozark and the Neymar documentary as well, which I thought was very good. I've been listening to that and watching that, so it's just crazy, obviously, his lifestyle and how he's started off very young with a lot of attention, and it's quite motivational and inspiring, I think, too. Obviously, I think with his ability, he could probably go even further, but to maintain that, there's got to be a certain amount of discipline that he's maintained. So for me, I take a lot out of that.
So you're the type of person that likes watching all those sort of sports and football-based documentaries?
What is going on here? What is going on? Nah.
If that was caught on camera, I must have apologised for the viewers.
Oh my god.
Likes watching all those sort of sports and football-based documentaries?
What is going on here? What is going on? Nah.
If that was caught on camera, I must have apologised for the viewers.
Oh my god. That won't have got it now.
I don't think.
A few moments later.
Okay, this is a very strange interview. It's the strangest one we've done so far.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you the type of person that's watching football on your days off on TV?
Yeah, I love it. I've grown up around football. You know, my dad's been a big influence on me, and normally just watch, you know, Super Sunday with him, and whether Liverpool, obviously support Liverpool, so whether they're on, I enjoy watching that, or even I watch a lot of Barcelona, or have been in recent years. So I enjoy different types of football and, you know, different cultures that come with it.
Do you have any particular favourite pundits or any pundits you try and avoid, or?
That's a good question. To be honest, I love listening to Carragher and Neville on Monday Night Football, especially just before the pre-match. I enjoy that quite a bit because obviously there's a bit of banter that goes back and forth, and but no, their knowledge of the game is very good, and it helps me out as a player as well.
Now, we end all these interviews with 9 quick fire questions, so you just need to say the first thing that comes into your mind. It's an either or. So, first thing that comes into your mind.
Right.
Ethan Hawke or Ethan Peck?
Ethan Hawke.
Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
Seth Letts Flat.
Can I describe, because Tans is from New Zealand, I'll go Australia.
Seth Letts Flats or Quintin Letts?
The second one.
The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
The Rock.
Gloves, winter warmer or fashion faux pas?
Fashion faux pas.
Would you ever have a penguin as a pet? Yes or no?
Absolutely not. No.
VAR, yes or no?
Oh, it's a tough question. It's a quick fire as well, so I'm going to go no.
Should Norwich City Centre be pedestrianised? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And finally, the big question: when you're making a cup of tea, do you put the tea bag in first or the milk?
I'm not a serial killer, so I put the tea bag in first. Yeah.
Congratulations, Ethan. You can stay at the club for another season. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.
So what was going on down the training ground yesterday? That was Andy Parslow, our set-piece coach in the background, who I don't think realised that we were recording. But there we go. So Ethan Chislett is our player to watch. Typically, he's been dropped to the bench today, so that's always... But I don't think anything because of his performance in terms of that. Anne-Marie's joined us. Okay?
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
No problem
nice
at all.
to be back.
So, Ethan Chislett, a really weird one, isn't it? Because in terms of minutes played this year, not loads. He's played a lot of games short period. I was saying to Aaron earlier, George Marshall's coming to the team now, starting to, got game time. Ethan's one that's had to wait, but actually he's taking his chance.
Yeah, I mean, with Saturday he was causing problems in the outside of the box. He was enjoying it out there as well. I think what's really nice about him, he had something different. He's a very different kind of player to Marsh, and I think people have been suggesting him coming back in the team. And I don't think he's probably given Robbo a nice kind of headache. I think after the performance, it was nice at one point. He started a bit of a move and then ran straight over to tell Robbo with a big grin on his face, almost like looking at it for a proud dad moment. Like, did you see what I did? Yeah, it was really nice to see. So it was good to see him back.
But do you know what, Freddie, in terms of that, he's actually one of the older statesmen at 23. He's one of the old ones.
Compared to where the club is now, I know. It's, he can coach the other guys.
Yeah, and we just got there, Cespa, Cheers was a beast at the weekend. Yeah, I think so. And like I say, I think, Aaron, it's about really now, isn't it, about when they come on, taking their chances. I know we joke about the finishers, but it is ultimately to make sure that they come on and make an impact.
Taking their chances because there are not many spots available. It's funny, we sit and we talk about sort of options in attack, but the midfield is so well stocked, beautifully well stocked. And in Ethan Chislett, you've got an all-rounder. You've got someone who can attack, who can defend. He's got an engine on him. He's from South Africa. What more do you want? It's great. It's lovely. It's.
He hasn't really kept the accent though.
No. I just wanted to shut that from Durban.
I'm not going to try it.
But he wouldn't do well on a rugby pitch, but in football, we love him. He's great. But as you mentioned, there are limited opportunities in that midfield. That's why he's played an average of 36 minutes a game.
I know.
Because you think about it, you've got Hartigan, Woodyard, Marsh, Chislett, McCormick can play in midfield as well. Saturday you're like, wow, we are stocked nicely. So the middle of the park is brilliant. Yeah. But he's always a great option to have.
And I think, Anne-Marie, obviously we're going into a real period now, so we go to Cheltenham, go to the Valley on Saturday, and then we've got Rotherham and Sunderland to join us. what Sunderland we get, and of course the manager bounce, all that. You know, Defoe I think has joined.
Slaven Bilic touted.
Oh crikey! How do you know? You think about Defoe's gone in there, isn't it? I think they've also got the lad who used to be here. I'm forgetting his name now. Who was from Celtic.
Patrick Roberts.
That's the one who we unfortunately had before the academy days.
Yeah. Danny Batt, they've signed a centre half from Stoke. So
So yeah, we've got Sunderland. But you know, going back to Ethan Chislett, it's probably going to be. He's actually, if you look at it, fresh. You know, second half of the season could be quite important for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, he seemed to be, he got through injury free on Saturday, and I think Aaron's absolutely right that there is a lot of competition to be in that squad. And now going into February, we've got a couple of new signings, and we've got that bit of hope now. And I think people want to be playing in the squad. I know it's all looking a bit, you know, dreary, looking at the table and looking at recent, you know, results. Yeah. But people want to be in that squad. And at the end of the day, they're footballers. They want to be playing. And Ethan is a happy, positive player. He plays happy, positive football. And I think that's what we need right now. And I think if we can increase the number of minutes, I think the whole team will benefit. He's a really brilliant player. To be
Definitely.
fair.
And I'm just going to now spike in terms of. I was just going to say Sam Cosgrave. I've got it already. Have I got it wrong already? Cosgrave.
Cosgrove.
Sam has joined us. But yeah, he joined us a little bit earlier. So I'm hoping Spike's got it lined up. But we caught up with Sam a little earlier.
Joined now by Everton's latest new signing, Sam Cosgrove. Sam, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here. Yeah.
So Sam, deadline day yesterday. It sounds from your interview with the club that it's quite eventful. Just talk us through your day yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I mean, maybe not eventful, but it was definitely a stressful one. You know, I woke up in the morning with everything still up in the air. You know, I'd heard contact from Wimbledon a couple of days before, and it was something that we were definitely pushing towards. But you know how it is on deadline day; things happen so quickly, and before I knew it, I was on the motorway heading down.
So was it something that you'd had talks with the club beforehand, or was it just you were aware of it, maybe some interest in the dying days?
Yeah, so as I said, a couple of days before the end of the window, Wimbledon approached me, and it was one of a couple of offers that I had. But I have to say, I spoke with the manager on Friday night, and you know the kind of philosophy and the way he sold the club to me definitely resonated with me, and I'm glad that I've come here.
So you mentioned meeting Robbo there. What's your first impressions of not just the coaching staff but the playing squad as well, even with the limited time you've had with them so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've only really seen them today and a couple of people yesterday, but I think the main thing that strikes me is they're a bunch of good people. You know, I think football can be quite a harsh, cruel game at times, but the people here definitely seem determined to be as nice as they can, but also to work as hard as they can to get the best of this club and the best out of the players.
Now, it's something Wimbledon have got a long history of, you know, I hate to use the word target men, but, you know, number 9's making a big impact. Is that something you're hoping you can add towards, not just this year, but, you know, certainly for the rest of this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, along the lines of this season and maybe the season before, I kind of lost my way as a bit of a number 9. I was trying to add different parts to my game, whereas I think that coming here, the way the manager's spoken to me, I think I just want to try and resurrect my number 9 days, being an aggressive target man, hopefully linking up well for the team and being a presence up top.
So it's something that, you know, sadly you weren't registered in time to be involved tonight. You hoping to be involved Saturday against Cheltenham?
100%, yeah. If I could have been involved tonight, I definitely would have been at least on the bench. So yeah, absolutely buzzing to get started.
Well, Sam, it's absolutely incredible to have you at the club, you know, and we hope for big things for you over the next 6 months or so.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.
And there we go, Sam Cosgrove. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. This is bringing back to right. Yeah, let's start again. So yeah, Sam joined us earlier on that. He's a big old. We were saying, what we are, and he's a big lad, isn't he?
Proper
25 years old. Crikey, when he properly grows up, But yeah, do you think, in all seriousness, with Ollie Palmer going to Wrexham, do you think it was really important to get that sort of big lump up there? Because let's be fair, League One normally has a lump of centre half, don't they? Let's be fair, you've got to try and compete there.
That's not a serious question. Of course, Stu. Of course. Everyone, and they're like gold dust. Everyone is looking for that out and out forward. Everyone wants a focal point for their attack. And that's what Sam Cosgrove is, 6'4". He had a fantastic goal record at Aberdeen.
Yeah.
He's from Beverley in Yorkshire. You know, what more do you want from a centre forward? He's got the potential now to effectively stick himself in the shop window, because I can't see him with the front line that Birmingham have assembled. I can't see him going back to Birmingham and potentially breaking into that.
Yeah.
And it's a case of now, is he playing for a permanent transfer here? Is he playing for a permanent transfer somewhere else?
Yeah.
This is his chance to shine, because again, there are limited number 9s out there. There are limited out and out centre forwards. The days of having them flying around left, right, and centre are gone.
And of course, linking it in, Lyle Taylor's obviously gone to Birmingham.
Yeah.
So that's where. Do you know what I look at Sam Cosgrove? And this is an unfair question to Freddie, but I'm going to ask it. He's done his rounds. Now you put him in Dunbarrow or Chorley or Nantwich.
Town.
Not yet.
I'm going to extend my trip.
But what I mean by that, he's done his rounds in terms of that sort of side. So actually, coming here to Plough Lane and that, I agree with Aaron. This is his chance now, really, to make a story of us.
It's a truism across all sports. Sometimes the player just needs to find the right atmosphere, the right environment, and also with the benefit of age, some wisdom comes from that. Compared to our players, 25 gives you some wisdom.
Yeah.
And so look, we're at a budget where we need to find unique angles, and I think I'm really excited to see what Sam can do.
Anne-Marie, do you think in terms of he goes straight in on Saturday if available? He's obviously unfortunately not available tonight. But do you think he's one that goes straight in?
Yeah, I think so. I was very, very pleased. I was quite surprised that we managed to pull it off. I agree with Aaron totally. Yeah, they are like gold dust out there. And I think we talked about it actually when there were the rumours about Ollie Palmer, about the implications of the fact that would have to change our entire system about how we play. Whereas if we can get things right with Sam, he can technically slot back in. We don't have to go back to the drawing board totally with the whole squad and how we play. I'm not going to say he's going to be exactly like Ollie. There'll probably be individual differences between him and Ollie as kind of players, but it's what he brings. It's that target man. I think absolutely he should go in. And he scored a big bag full of goals at Aberdeen, and not an easy lead.
I'm just laughing at Mark Hendricks just putting some random stuff on there. Some people some people's most disliked meals are other people's caviar. Hopefully, the things that sell really well and put. What's the last bit on that?
His troubles are Salop and Brum behind him.
Do you know what? Honestly, this club is thrived off of having a proper out-and-out forward that has driven nomadic centre forwards that have driven this club forward for a while. And look, it's not always gone right. After Lyle and Tom and Bayo left, it didn't go right for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But then when you bring in someone like a Joe Piggott, who grows into the role and becomes loved, all he needs to do is work hard. Work hard, sit the ball in the back of the net, and he will be loved by this club and this ground. You look at players that have come here on loan before, who have done such a job, and they want to stay and they just build that unique relationship with this club. A striker is very different to every other player. But I remember seeing Kel Roos after Derby, Bristol City.
Yeah.
And he come up to me and goes, "What's Wimbledon score?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "What's Wimbledon score?" And he saw I had the scarf on.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, tell me what the Wimbledon score is." And I was like, "Wow, he's still thinking about it." I still love him just for that save. That save. That save.
Yes.
That save. But he just needs that. It's that little 10-20%, and he will become the darling of Plough Lane.
And you're right. Do you know what? That's leaves you on really, really well there, Freddie. Obviously, because you've been over here. That love that Sam will get, I'm sure you've experienced already.
Look, I am a tenth of as important, even less than what Sam is going to bring to the fans and the supporters here. But you can tell it's the story is incredibly unique. We're here because of the supporters, because of the fans, and people who give that love back are rewarded. It's been a great experience for me, and I'm sure it will be for Sam.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Aaron. I think, do you know what? Sometimes you need a bit of love, and we know Robbo would do that. Robbo would expect him to work hard and do all the things that he wants, but the most they give him support, and sometimes they need that in that sort of side.
Just think of the strikers this club has had over the years. My favourite, Shane Smeltz, legend of the game.
Yeah.
Legend of the game.
Yeah.
Danny Kedwell, John Main, Lyle Taylor, Adabak and Fenway. You think of the promotion season. The quality of strikers this club had. During that season, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's not just pressure, it's an understanding that if I can do a quarter of what they did in 6 months, I will become loved, and I will become one of those who's talked about in that category.
Definitely, and Lar, of course, is still loved, and obviously on your podcast.
Yeah,
he loves an opinion, Lar, doesn't he? He's great for that.
Do you know what? But that's why you love him.
He's great.
That's why you love him. He's brutally honest, tells it as it is, and he wants the best. And let me tell you, like, he loves this club very, very dearly, very dearly. Like, we talk about this club, it's the crux of our conversation 9 times out of 10 is Wimbledon. What's going on at Wimbledon? What about this? What about this? And he'll tell me a story about Darius, or he'll tell me a story about Callum Kennedy, or he'll tell me a story about Bayer, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard that one before. So sit down with your uncle. But you know what? I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And who knows what will happen one day?
Yeah, I'd love that.
I was chuffed to see he scored on his debut Saturday, didn't he?
Do you know what? Lar was hilarious, but when he was laughing, he got substituted, and he's just laughing at the Derby fans, and I can imagine what they were saying towards him. He's just, do you know what? Lar is one of those great characters, and we've had many along the line, even at Ramsdale now, Arsenal. You know, real big characters, you know, strong characters. As you can see, team lining up, training, warming up. That's the word. I don't know the training, warming up down there. We will have some. Rob's going to head down there shortly and we'll get some stuff on there. Okay, so Don's last 5, obviously drew at home against Shrewsbury, lost against Ipswich, draw at Burton Albion, which obviously Ollie Palmer's last goal, draw at home to Pompey, who got beaten at home last night quite comfortably by Charlton in the end. Not too sure you watched that, Aaron. And draw against. I went to, obviously I know you were involved in the transfer deadline day. What was that like this year? Because there was a lot of movement.
The busiest in years.
Yeah.
The busiest January in years. I had 14 hours across it, chasing a deal at 3 a.m. to see if it had happened or not. And just, it's fascinating. Obviously, I was predominantly covering all the London clubs for BBC Radio London, and then doing my bits with Colin Murray on 5 Live, who obviously presents the EFL coverage. Insane. Really, really crazy. Some of the deals that happen in this division, some of the deals that happen, we were talking about Matty Longstaff.
Going to Mansfield.
You know,
Unreal,
what a deal that is.
Was that one you double checked? Make sure you looked at the right team.
I had to double take it. But we got wind of them doing, because I know David Sharp, their CEO, and he's an ambitious guy, very ambitious guy. And with them, I mean, even the back end of last season, they were struggling under Nigel Clough, and he turned around and said, look, let's get to the end of the season, let's see what happens. They start of the season, they were poor.
Yeah.
Then from October, they've lost once since October in the league, which is a phenomenal record.
Yeah.
And they're putting teams away comfortably. And so why not back your manager? And that's what they've done. And look, we know about the Radfords. They've got plenty of resources there. They've also got the old scoreboard from Wembley Stadium, if anyone's interested. I come with facts.
Really?
So in the corner of Field Mill is the old scoreboard from Wembley Stadium, the old Coca-Cola scoreboard.
Crikey.
From Wembley.
To be fair, I never looked at that when I went to Mansfield last.
That's what you see. It's got dead pixels everywhere. It barely works, but they still keep it going. But they've got resources, they've backed their club, and honestly, if there's a club to go up with Forest Green for me, it's going to be them.
Yeah, and do you know what? The Radfords they're not just here for a short term, they've been there for a good. So it's not one, do you know what I mean, in terms of, they've come in, and I know they've got a bit of money, but it generally looks like they're trying to build. And you're right, backing their manager at this point of the season on that. And we're going to go quickly through the away team news, better cover those. But Cheltenham goals in this, and I shouldn't say this, I'm probably tempting fate, but we've had a few down the years, a few 4-3s, even this season in the FA Cup. What are you expecting, 0-0?
No, not another one. No, another 0-0. I don't know what to expect. Obviously, I think it would be a different answer if we had our new chap Sam up front. I think that we've had players like Matty Blair and Liam Circle both played several times against us in the past and played well against us, caused us problems.
Yeah.
I think that Cheltenham are having an exceptionally good season compared to how I thought they would be at the start. No disrespect. I thought they'd be sort of further down there with us battling away.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there'll be goals tonight, but I think that like we said earlier, that optimism going in, having had pretty good January transfer window.
Yeah.
I hope that we can put our stamp on it tonight and come away with a win.
Freddie, I was going to say, if you look now, we've got the last 5. That's a hell of a tough last 5, Freddie.
Yes.
Oxford, Burton, Charlton, Rotherham, Wigan. God, look at this as an easy game tonight.
Well, I said this earlier. I think it's a momentum type sport. you see the ball go in the back of the net once, and especially with a young team, that builds confidence.
Yeah.
And so I'm optimistic about tonight. I wouldn't have come all this way if I
You didn't come to see me.
Yeah.
You look at the
tough, Aaron,
form, though, Stuart. Both sides, same veins of form over the last 5.
Yeah.
But when I look at the finishers on the bench, that's right, the finishers. I look at the Wimbledon bench and I think you've got options there.
Yeah.
Cosgrave, Dapo, Thomas, Paul Ossie could be an attacking outlet as well. Sorry, Ethan can be an attacking outlet. You know, bar Zaki and Dan Choker, you've got attackers on the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's options there, and obviously look, they've named 5 subs for whatever reason.
Yeah.
There are options there, and it's all about small competitive advantages, isn't it?
Definitely. So if we look at the other fixtures tonight in League One, obviously we're at home to Cheltenham, Doncaster at home to Rotherham. Doncaster, we're talking about supporting their manager. Doncaster brought loads in, Aaron, against Rotherham. Gillingham, wow, where do you start?
Neil Harris.
Where do you start with that? Last week, Aaron, we were saying we think Gills are probably out of it.
Yeah.
You now have to say he's going to do something there. Freddie, what are you... Because in terms of where we are tonight, do you think Gillingham, new manager bounce? It's also 23rd against 22nd tonight.
Yeah, I think with those sort of matchups, anything can happen really at the end of the day. And
forget the table.
Yeah.
What do you think about Gillingham?
Aaron, I've loved Gillingham. I've loved Gillingham for a very long time.
Yeah.
I know it's about 2 hours from London, and that's about it.
Anything else?
No. What should I know about Gillingham?
Not much. What else do you know about Neil Harris?
I know Neil Patrick Harris, but not Neil Harris.
You know
His American actor, Doogie Howser? No? Did that show not make it out here?
Gillingham's interesting. They've got an interesting away end. I don't know if we can get some sort of picture
Feels
of it
like it
up.
might collapse at any minute.
Oh, yeah.
But genuinely, like, it is held together by like screws.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's an interesting place,
Yeah.
an interesting town, now run by an interesting man.
Yeah, we're before the
Neil
watershed
Harris.
as well.
Hey, they signed Ben Thompson. Do you know what? Honestly, he's a player I'd love to have seen it.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
love to have seen
I
it.
do know the owner wants to move out of Gillingham,
Paul
right?
Scally,
Yeah.
he's been trying for ages. He'd love to go to Dubai if he could.
Really? Yeah.
Marie, have you had the pleasure of going to Gillingham?
A couple of times, yes. One of them when we got the last minute, 4-3 winner.
Yes.
Fantastic day out. But yes, that away end is
If
terrifying.
it's raining, it's treacherous.
It's one of those temporary buildings that's just going to be there forever.
Do you know what the worst thing about that away end is? You actually see it before you go into it.
Yeah.
Scary.
So you go through, Freddie, to give you go through the turnstiles and you just see this structure.
Basically, you see a wall and then you see metal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
It
good.
looks like a fight at a scrapyard. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
apart from that, it's a lovely place.
Yeah, well, next trip, we're going to Gillingham.
No, I'm not. I've got a phobia of Kent, so I'm not going anywhere near it.
Fair enough.
Let's quickly go
I
through
don't go past Charlton on the A2.
Yeah.
So let's quickly go through the final fixtures. Sheffield Wednesday at home to Morecambe. Again, that's a show for us. Spike deliberately just took that off the screen. And there was other fixtures.
That's the hard-hitting analysis you came for.
Cheers, mate.
I think you're right though, Stu, that Gillingham, even though they're down there, you can't
Neil
rule out
Harris,
this stage still.
let's be fair, them attracting Neil Harris down there. I know you got some movement on transfer deadline day as well. So definitely now you can't now discount Gillingham. They've got a lot to catch up.
Do you know what? Honestly, with Neil, knowing him, he's going for a project. He's not there for a short-term gig. If they get relegated, they get relegated. He'll take them straight back up.
Oh, yeah.
Straight back up. That's where your money is next season, by the way.
Gillingham.
And then we've got Sheffield Wednesday home. Wigan home to Oxford. That's a good one. And Bolton 6-0 winners over Sunderland, which I think might have just seen the end of their manager there yesterday at home to Cambridge United. So table-wise, this is a biggie. As they all are. And the league tables, if you look at obviously Rotherham, and it sort of shows in terms of the draw at home, draw against Wigan for Cheltenham, a big one there. Aaron, just quickly before we come away from that, when you look at the teams that are outside of those playoffs, the Plymouth, the Sheffield Wednesday, the Ipswich, the Pompey, Charlton, who beat Pompey last night, who looked very good.
Bolton, 15th.
It just shows you this league is absolutely bonkers.
I'm telling you, it's the best league in the world.
Yeah.
Sack off your Premier League. I know I'm biased with the Championship, I love it, but League One is the most competitive nuts division in the world. The fact that Bolton in 15th could kick the you-know-what out of Sunderland in there, and they beat it out of them. That is brutal. And to get the Sunderland manager sacked as well is crazy. You've got teams in there who don't believe they should be in that division. That's the thing about League One. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care if you're Sheffield Wednesday or Ipswich Town, UEFA Cup winners, or Portsmouth FA Cup winners, or Charlton who think they should be bigger than they are. You know, it basically, it just swallows you up. It's like the National League. It swallows you up.
I was having a similar conversation with a Reading fan who was saying, actually quite a few of their fans want to come down so they can reconsolidate.
They'll never get out.
And I said, look at the teams in our league. There's some huge clubs.
They will never get out.
And you're right, it swallows you up. I just think it would be the worst thing for
Sunderland
them.
expected to have a season 2 top step. What is it now? 4 years?
Yeah.
4 or 5
years.
5 years
Slipping
now.
away.
You know, the only ones who actually enjoy League One are Rotherham. They love League One. You know, they come down every year.
And you know what? Wickham. I know. Obviously you go Wickham quite a bit. Wickham have come down, but they've literally. You might expect them to come down and maybe go back to the old Wickham, but they haven't. The squad they've got now is very decent.
But that's because of their new owners, the Kuiks. They tried to buy Yeovil a few years back, and I know Pete, who's the nephew of Rob, the owner, quite well. You know the way they operate, very forward thinking. They released a statement yesterday, very simply saying, at the start of the transfer window, this is where we identified we wanted to get players from. We're only getting players if they make things better. We're not buying players for the sake of it like they used to. Wickham used to stockpile players. I'm currently working on a project right now where I'm trying to see if Wickham have loaned in the most players in EFL history, because I believe they have. Everyone, if you look at everyone, they've played on loan at Wickham. Be it for a day, a week, a month, a year. They've
Me
played
too.
there. He played at Wickham once, man. They needed a 7th choice left back. They phoned him up. Got him in.
The guy.
By the time
sometimes you got to be in the right environment.
By the time they got the international clearance, the deal was over. So he couldn't make his debut. But
Catch-22.
They used to stockpile players, especially in League Two. Now it's a case of quality over quantity. And a lot of clubs are doing that because of COVID budgets and because of the state of the market.
Definitely. So we've got 15 minutes to kick off. Rob Boyce was downstairs. That's right. Was downstairs. Do you know what? One thing, Freddie, I don't know. Obviously, it's different now because obviously it's Saturday, but midweek games. It looks empty out there. You will see a mad rush now in the next 15 minutes. This ground under lights is quite special. Are you looking forward to this
You can
midweek
tell.
experience?
Someone. I think it might have been Boise, said, the atmosphere here is electric, something about the nighttime. And, I agree, it's something about the mystery of night. Maybe people have been drinking since work ended. Whatever it takes, it's going to be a special night out there.
Yeah. And Boise's got his shadows, it's hilarious.
There he is.
But he's following one ball round. Be careful there, Boise. I only got hit on Saturday.
I've never seen Boise and Hayden the Womble in the same place at the same time. I don't know about you.
Let's not talk about Hayden.
We don't have a good relationship.
I love it.
Oh yeah, we love Hayden.
Well, I tried to buy his actual shirt.
Off him.
Well, at the end of the season,
right?
Because I wanted a cover for my car, and then I tried to buy his hat because I wanted a bowl for crisps and other snacks.
That's good.
And
how that negotiation go?
Well, they said no.
We only sell that during the transfer.
They said no. So it is what it is. We have a lovely relationship.
Good. Hayden requested to meet my friend on Facebook today. So
that's a big moment.
I've been friends on Facebook for years.
Did you
see
Did you see his? Did you see him taking around the wheelie bin, and did you see him do that?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
You should see him after he's been dry cleaned. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hair everywhere. Looks like Whoopi Goldberg.
Cool. So before we go through, so if you go head to head, lots of goals in this one, but head to head, all the threes. Away games, points per. Cheltenham not travelling well in terms of 0.85 points away from home, an average of 1.12. But if we go through the observations, Wimbledon no win in 5, no win in 8. Compared to Cheltenham, no win in Cheltenham in the last 4 away games, no win in 10. Aaron,
if you've ever played roulette, you realise there could be a break in this somewhere. Someone could win this game tonight. Look, all roads are leading to a draw. I certainly am hoping it's a home win. And who knows? You look at the squad, you look at what we're trying to do. Look, Wimbledon will have spells with their attack. It's about sticking the ball in the onion bag, isn't it? Very simple. And that's becoming a bit of a commodity lately. But who knows? Who knows?
Freddie, goal-wise, we're going to go on. We're going to look at the rewind as Spike comes through there. This fixture has goals. I don't want to say it too loudly. So you're going to be behind a goal tonight.
I'm going to be playing. I'm not going to be playing goal. I'm going to be behind the goal mostly. I'm going to be starting the game up top, but by the second half, I'll be down there in the south stands.
And were you expecting goals tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
History
like you said, history between the two teams, and I mean both teams are wanting to get out of the position they're in, so they're both going to go for it. I still think we'll edge it. I just think we've had good performances at times recently, and it's just trying to get it all together. And Lee Brown had a brilliant match on Saturday. Just looked more solid. I think everyone felt a little bit more. It looked a little bit more stable at the back. He's had a couple of days to settle in with training and get to know the players.
And a couple of goals, obviously, for AO in the cup game. Do you think tonight the celebration was quite interesting? I felt on Saturday. Hey, look, forwards are judged by goals. You can't get away from that. He looked really happy to get a goal, but also felt the team around him. I actually noticed that Lee Brown was the first one to get there, which is interesting for a debut on that side of it. But do you think that will give him a big lift? To get no more goals today?
Oh, I love him. I didn't see him smile. It's the first thing I said to.
He's a grumpy teenager.
It's the first thing I said to my family. I said he scored. He's the smallest player on the pitch. He's just scored a header at Plough Lane. I don't think he smiled, but I was chuffed to bits for him. And he works his socks off out there. And I know Robert tries to give him as much freedom as possible, while also getting that delicate balance with reining him in on various different levels. So I think he's such an exciting player. People love getting behind him.
Last league game, Aaron, over nearly 7 years ago. Looking at a young Michael Smith on loan. Now,
Great,
you just talk about
forward ever. I think he was labelled by Paul.
Was he really?
The greatest they've ever seen at the club.
Now we talk about forwards. That's another one that we, isn't it, when they come up there? But obviously, last league game was a 1-1 draw at home here. Freddie, I know we're going to let you go soon and get you downstairs. But do you want to, before I let you go, do you want to do a quick prediction?
Quick prediction. So I think it's going to resemble more the more recent matchup than May 2nd, 2015. So put me down for a 2-1 AFC Wimbledon win.
Superb. Freddie, if you want to head, you're welcome to head out away.
No,
I know it's a bit of a journey down there.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully we get more luck and we don't lose today on that one. So Freddie, thank you for joining us.
So good to meet you.
Appreciate it.
Aaron, what are you thinking tonight?
I want to say 2-1 win. I'll always back the team. 3-1, hopefully. Goal for Terry would be nice. Goal for Dapper off the bench would be nice as well.
Do you know, part of me, I feel for him a bit. When he has had games recently, he's worked his socks off. He's played well. I think he's absolutely gutted to be on the bench. So if he comes off, he'll come off absolutely.
Honestly,
gunning for it.
It would just be nice to get this place rocking, get some goals going. That's what it's all about.
And we're hearing that Cosgrove and Broome will be introduced to the crowd soon. Rugby here on Sunday.
Oh, we can see.
I'm just seeing those lines. Now, George came up with the most. I'm going to say that. George said you can only see it in the sunshine. Well, the lights are on tonight, George. They're a good crowd, 2,000 here.
Yeah, I think quite a few Wimbledon fans went along for it. I think they might have been teaching some of the rugby league fans some songs from the changing the culture of the sport. I'd love to come up and watch it. I think it's great. They've changed their kit, haven't they, to match
blue and yellow.
Match the Wombles. It's obviously that I know there's lots of conversation about how it's affecting the pitch, but as long as we don't let it affect the way we play, I certainly can work with it.
Definitely. Aaron, what are you expecting tonight from Wimbledon? Obviously, you've not been here for a little while.
Every time I come, I see goals. Fast attacking play, quick start, hopefully. I think being the last game in hand, look, you know what Robbo's going to say. Get at them quick. Make them know that this is our house.
Yeah.
You don't give them a moment at all. And fingers crossed a quick start and some goals, please. Some goals would be nice. Every time I've come here, I've seen goals. So
and that's why I'm really pleased you joined us. Not for the fact of seeing you again. In that sort of stuff of it. So we're just waiting for the players to come out there. Cheltenham on a Tuesday night, that looks like a decent. It's hard, isn't it, Amber? They've always been here in the FA Cup as well, haven't they? It's hard on a midweek game.
Hard for Cheltenham to come here. Yeah, it's not. No match is easy in League One, like you said. It's a really bizarre league. You don't know what result you're going to get between teams, like you said, with Bolton, Sunderland, Wimbledon, Cheltenham. You've no idea what it's going to draw up. What's exciting about these Tuesday matches at Plough Lane is at some point we know there's going to be a classic thriller and that we'll all look back on. We just don't know when it's going to happen. So I always anticipate before, this is it. This is going to be that thriller, the very first big one. It might not be, but one day. Why not tonight? Why not tonight?
You can see behind us. I love midweek games at this place. I really, really do.
I just love this place.
Yeah, it is one of those, isn't it? And you know, like you said earlier, sometimes you just forget how privileged we are to have this back. And obviously, don't forget about the Plough Lane bond too. I think from memory, it's hitting up to about £1.3 million on that side of it. So again, that will help us through the side of it. Don't forget to join us after the game. We'll be back straight after kick-off on that. And I think what we're going to do for the last sort of couple of minutes is just pan out some pictures for when they come out. Cool, and as you can see, Sam, Cosgrove and Broom, I don't know what his first name is. Nathan.
Good
out
work.
on the pitch. You can tell I wasn't paying much attention to it. But yeah, do you know what? It's nice for us to do that in terms of bringing them out, obviously introduce them to the Wimbledon fans. Obviously bringing in the goalkeeper gives competition. Probably the right thing to do, Aaron, as well, really, to bring in that.
Hey, Marie mentioned something just a minute ago. You said he's going to be a sweeper keeper.
Is he? You should have taken full credit.
I was trying not to do that. I was trying to.
He's probably had
He loves it.
Sweeper keeper. It's probably anything but. I think
that's
absolutely
rubbish,
right. It's a project.
With Haynes, it feels like we're due a win. Yeah. I don't know I always think about due a win. You think with sometimes these, I know Nick always says to me, some of these sequences, you feel like they've got to be broken. But yeah, so you can see the team are coming out. If you obviously join on iFollow, I'm not too sure if it's available on the UK, I think. UK and international. So join it on iFollow, and we will see you after the game. And yeah, enjoy it, and let's hope